13 edition of the BiddieCast. It's your host, Shawn Klein and Dave Fast. Dave, you are in the playoffs. I am not.
Yes.
How does it feel to actually have a week to play for?
I mean, it feels great. Last year I didn't make the playoffs. We shook things up, got a new coach, and we did the roster. I'm happy that we're back in there. Happy that we get the chance to play on. And big important game coming up here, which we'll get to in a little bit here. But feels great to be playing important fantasy football late in December. So I'm excited.
And I've got to say, I'm really jealous because I think I should be in the playoffs. I mean, we're going to dive into this a little bit later. But it's tough looking at the standings and you see that you have a lot of points, but the wins just aren't there.
Right.
I think that's probably one of the most frustrating things about fantasy football, alongside like injuries. What do you think is more frustrating, winning or losing games that you have like a really high score in, or losing games because one of your best players got injured? What do you think would be more frustrating?
I think losing a game that you score really high in, because injuries are a part of the game, right? It's going to happen. Everyone's going to run into injuries during a game that they lose because Christian McCaffrey went down early on, or whatever the case may be. But if you're scoring 180 something points, you're scoring 140 plus points, and you're still losing the game. That you did everything you should have done. You put the right lineup in probably, and you caught a bad matchup. At the end of the day, is what happens. You caught a bad matchup.
What can you do? The other thing that we're going to be previewing in the next week or two is awards, end of the season awards. We gotta start looking at who the best players are, best coaches. We got to come up with like a list of awards to hand out at the end of the season. I know we've already got a few of them, but I think there's a bunch more out there. Like this year, particularly with COVID and injuries like that, a lot of teams kind of caught the injury bug, and some got hit harder than others. And I think you got to give them at least some sort of consolidation, a paper mache award or something for that.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. We should definitely do that. That'd be a nice little twist that you can get everyone back and involved in, even those who are a little pouty about not making the playoffs.
Like myself.
Like yourself, yeah.
All right, well, let's dive into this week's matchups. We've got a few of them to go through before we get through the first week of playoff previews. So without further ado, last week's game of the week, Double D against So I Won't Get Fined. And this was going to be you win, you're in. And Double D ran away with it with, I believe this is the high score of the week, too.
Yeah, 81 points. That's fantastic. That's a phenomenal score. You look at right down, almost everybody on his team except for Hayden Hurst performed, right? It's he got 6.5 points from his defense. Great. He got 20 points from Derek Carr, 15 from Deontay Johnson, and the list keeps on going on. Kyler Murray finally kind of showed up for him, He had a good overall win, and Team Andreski, a little too late for his team there. He kind of similar to, yeah. You look at Jerry Jeudy.
It's gotta hurt going through this and just looking at these numbers: 0, 7.5, 1.5. When for so many weeks in a row, these guys are putting up points for them, and then all it takes is that 1 week to push you out. And I really feel bad for Matt on this because he made a hell of a run to try to make the playoffs.
Sure did.
And just a couple players didn't show up for him. Justin Herbert, 6.5 points. Come on, man. I would be pulling my hair out at that.
Yeah, Justin Herbert is probably going to be Offensive Rookie of the Year. He was on pace to break single season touchdown record for a rookie. He probably still will. But yeah, this is definitely up against I think I said last week, in my opinion, what I thought was an overrated New England defense. Boy, they showed me right. Put up the goose egg on the Chargers. It's Unexpected. I was not expecting Herbert to have that poor of a performance. Not that it really would have helped man at the end of the day, but
Oh, he needed 80 more points, man. I don't. It was a tough matchup. I guess if you want to find any sort of positive note out of this, it's just that even if you did have Jerry Jeudy, Devontae Parker, Kyle Rudolph show up, you still needed more from CeeDee Lamb, Justin Herbert, Alvin Kamara. You just needed more to be able to come up with a win. And you can go down your team and blame it on Jerry Jeudy or blame it on Devontae Parker, blame it on Justin Herbert, but really you needed a lot more from everyone on this one. So it's unfortunate he's out of the playoffs, but Derek, he is in.
Derek is in.
Paul Padaleski.
Ooh, playing the role of spoiler.
All the Muppets had to do was win, and they're in.
And they couldn't.
They couldn't.
The Muppets went from, for the most of the season, a first place team, but 5 in a row, right? Or is it 5 losses in a row?
Let me just double check because I can look at my team here. I believe I lost 5 in a row. Where does it show?
You gotta go to standings.
Does it show? Yeah, shows the streak. I mean, I could just
5 in a row. I mean, that will
5 in a row. And the odd thing is, they weren't just losses.
Yeah.
They were losses where you're putting up points.
I mean, you put up 140 points,
but it's just not as good as the team you're playing against that week.
Yeah, what happened? I mean,
that's where it kind of sucks because that's something you cannot control. You can control your roster and who you put in it. You can make good decisions. You can make bad decisions. You can't control what the other team does.
Right.
That's where I'm kind of batting around some ideas for next year about how we can have some way to reward teams with points, but at the same time have a lot of value in wins and losses.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely something that we can look into. But I mean, we're in the present now, right? You're you're on the outside looking in. I mean, both these teams, always.
Line is, you look at my roster. You needed more from Terry McLaurin. You needed more from Todd Gurley. Hey, I even got lucky with Myles Gaskin. You're still expecting a little bit more from Russell Wilson, but I'm okay with 18 points. Bottom line is, none of my bench would have helped in this situation. So, and the other thing that kind of sucked here, and I think this affected my team more than most. It might have affected some other teams too. But there were a lot of teams in Week 13 that had a bye.
Yep. Tampa
Bay, Carolina. That really kind of put me in a tough position heading into this week with who's going to be on my roster, who's not. I really didn't want to start Todd Gurley because he's been having that knee issue. I wanted to I would have put Ronald Jones in there, but who knows how he would have done. So bottom line is, it's another loss. It's another lost season for the Muppets. We gotta regroup next year and try something different because going for the most points not working for us.
There's been a lot of rumors that Muppets might be making a coaching change in the off season. Can you comment on the validity of those rumors if that's true?
We don't make comments year of. Maybe come back in July or August and answer that question.
All right.
The itty bitty tight end by committee. Another situation where they win and they're definitely in. They lose. They still had a chance. So this whole matchup, these two teams were likely to be in the playoffs no matter what. Mm-hmm. But certainly putting up the W here just had to make Ben breathe that sigh of relief.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, huge game from Josh Allen. I mean, that's the difference, right? Josh Allen went out and had himself a game on Monday night, and it's again, I've been talking about Ben's team all season long, saying he had a really strong team. He gets Austin Eckler back right at the right time, right? He gets Austin Eckler back for the playoffs. I mean, that's Aaron Jones. I mean, this is definitely a team to be worried about in the playoffs, in my opinion.
I mean, you got to say the same for Chris too.
Yeah,
His
absolutely.
team's been solid all year. I mean, clearly the best team in the league. There wasn't a team that really came close. He's the only one was able to clinch before week 13. So his team's been solid up and down, straight through the middle too. His players are constantly putting up double-digit numbers, and that's, for me, that's what I like to see. I know some other people want to see like those big numbers, like that 47 that Waller put up every now and then, but I like consistency. I will take 15 points from each player every week. I love that. That's me. I like to play a little more conservatively, and that's also Chris's team. I mean, they've been solid right down the middle. Even when you look at David Johnson and Evan Ingram to a certain extent, they're putting up solid double-digit numbers for probably half or more of their games. And in those high-risk positions with those high-risk players, that's good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. And you look at Chris's bench too. I mean, just such a good bench. And he's got Kittle and John Brown on the IR, which John Brown is like he's trying to come back in a couple of weeks. George Kittle, what's gonna happen with him? Chris is in a fantastically good spot.
He's got a lot to work with, and honestly, so does Ben. Ben's got a lot to work with too.
This could be I don't know how the seedings are, but this could be the championship preview. Who knows?
Well, it might be. Who knows?
Yeah.
Chris has a bye this week, so. The fourth game of week 13, UK Bills get a bye at 7-6 because and we're going to preview this in just a second, but because the Angry Creamsicles lost, it allowed the UK Bills to jump up into that spot to get the bye. That's got to kill you a little bit. It puts you through one more match. But hey, the players are still playing. How do you approach this now, knowing that you could have had that bye?
Yeah, I mean, did I lose it by points scored? We're both 7-6.
Yes.
That's tough. Losing it by that tiebreaker of points scored, certainly it's rough. Would have liked to have that bye, but we're on to the playoff this game. We're not thinking about the what if could have beens, coulda, woulda, shoulda. We're not about that as a team. We're watching the film. We're preparing for the next team, and we're ready to go.
All right, let's talk about the elephant.
Okay.
With all that talk from Rob last week, all that, I'll let my team speak for itself. I'll let their actions show.
The haters be the motivators, I believe is what he said.
The haters be the motivators. What happened? They just fell apart. And Antonio Gibson injured, like it was like the second play too. Frank Gore, crickets.
Not good.
Couldn't
Not good.
Couldn't get anything going. That game was actually really fun to watch, by the way, the Washington-Pittsburgh game. I don't know if you watched it, but that was really fun. I think the Washington football team, they are starting to become fun to watch under Riverboat Ron. Just watch for that. Jordan Reed, he got a touchdown, I guess. You can find something out of that. DJ Chark, nothing. I think the bottom line here is he had a lot of bad breaks, particularly with like the Antonio Gibson and Frank Gore, where even with Gore, you're just hoping for 7-8 points out of that.
I mean, that's been Killer Tomatoes' story all season long.
Yeah, boomer bust.
The injuries too. He's had a lot of injuries. Look at his lineup. I mean, McCaffrey. If you would have started this season and you see that you got Mixon, McCaffrey, Edwards-Helaire, Josh Jacobs, like all of these guys, right? And you're like, add Antonio Gibson in there. You would think, wow, he's got all these running backs, and none of them could stay healthy. None of them could perform when he needed them to perform. He made the big trade with myself for Christian McCaffrey and Edwards-Helaire a few weeks ago. McCaffrey had one game and then got injured.
Do you think that trade made a difference for Rob?
Yeah. He gave up Calvin Ridley and Kareem Hunt. And he got back two players that, he got one game out of out of McCaffrey, and Edwards-Helaire is just, I mean, how big of a drop was that player? Did he go like the first 2-3 weeks to nothing?
Mm-hmm. Well, let's take a look at some of those players that were involved in that trade, because they didn't really help you much this week.
No, they didn't. I mean, Calvin Ridley actually probably had one of his better games the last few weeks, but I mean, 132. I mean, I'll take that. I mean, I think that's above what my projection was, or right at my projection total score. But yeah, I mean, Matt Ryan again. That guy's been the Achilles heel. His team, like, yeah. Underperforming. Hunter Henry, come on. You got to do better than that, Hunter Henry. It's just...
All right.
Everyone else was in double digits. I would like to see more from Lockett, more from, I'll take 15 points from Wayne Gallman. I'll take 13 points from J.K. Dobbins. To be expected, right?
I'm going to play something back for you.
Oh, boy. This could be a commonplace. We see him. He could be the Bungles. We have this bet going on. How many games is Anton going to win at 3.5? I took the under. Shawn took the over. Anton had a big win last week. Not the same this week. Anton loses almost by 30 points.
So, yeah, Biggie Smalls turned out to be a lot better than what you thought they would be this year.
He's got a good team. I mean, I helped him by giving him Aaron Rodgers. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Watson, actually, they're pretty equal when it comes to their total points scored in fantasy this year. But I mean, Mike Davis certainly helped Anton get some wins. He's got a good team. I mean, he had a lot of injuries early on, right? He had Jimmy Garoppolo.
Well, he also didn't start Mostert.
Right.
Like there were a lot of questions that both of us had at the beginning of the season, but Anton really turned it around. It's almost like we lit a fire under his ass for that. And
yeah.
He's since been making really, really wise roster decisions. Would have been nice to have Cole Beasley in the lineup for that huge game that he had on Monday night.
Yes. Yeah, but, absolutely.
You know what? Hey, I'm sure Anton's happy with a win. A win's a win is a win is a win. I wish I had a win. So, taking a look at our bets, you won 2 games last week, which brings you to 28-26, and I won 3, which brings me to 24-29. Not enough to catch up to you. Dave, you've won the ornament bet.
I did.
Would you like to see it now?
Yeah, absolutely.
Are you ready for it?
I think I am, yeah.
I will hand deliver this to you next week. I'll take the tag off though.
Okay.
But it's a cactus.
Oh, nice. Cactus with is that a some sort
It's a javelina.
Okay.
The javelina, or otherwise known as a pig.
I like it. Nice.
And I got it in
Sedona. Okay. Nice.
Sedona. So yeah,
nice.
I saw this. I thought the pig sort of looked like a dog, and you guys like black dogs, so
yeah, we have a couple. Yeah.
I thought this looked nice on your pig. And that, to be honest with you, when I got this, I still thought that I was going to win the actual ornament bet, and I was just going to put this in my tree because this is a nice one. But congratulations.
Well, if you will allow me to, I'm going to. I want to show you the ornament that I had picked out for you. So, can you allow me to share my screen?
I believe I sure can.
I don't have the physical copy of the physical actual in my possession, but I will show it to you. I figured you'd get a kick out of this.
Nice.
It's
oh my God, where did you find that? I could use that for so many gifts this year.
Amazon.com, man. There it is in action.
That is brilliant. Incredible. Absolutely incredible.
So the gift that could have been, that never was. Sorry.
And never will be. You need to transfer it back over to me so I can share the screen for the previews.
All right. How do I video settings?
You just make me the host again.
Oh. All right, sir. We're all the hosts back again.
Thank you. Week 14. Let's just take one final look at the standings. As you can see, the only team that stands out here is mine, not in the playoffs. In fact, second most highest points for. Did I say it right?
Second most highest. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Points for. Tied for last place.
Yeah, I mean that's rough. You know, it sucks. Fantasy football, crazy game. One thing I do want to point out, if you can hover back over to those points for, you said earlier that UK Bills beat me for the number 2 seed, but it looks like there were a couple guys ahead of me. It looks like Itty Bitty and Biggie Smalls.
Double D as well. But
Double D
doesn't have as many wins as you.
Yeah, so it looks like Itty Bitty would have been the number 2 seed headed in for. What was our points? What was our point difference there, real quick? I just want to see what the difference between the 10 points.
Now, would you rather have as a tiebreaker points for? It could even be points against, or something else.
I'm all for points for. I would also. I'm a big fan of the head-to-head. You know, if there's who had the head-to-head, and then the third thing could be points for. I like points for being the deciding factor because I mean we did a race that was one of our bets we had throughout the league is who's going to score the most points. So.
Well, I'm glad you brought up the head-to-head because your record in head-to-head matchups, looking at this week's playoff matchups, you played Anton's team. This is going to be the 3rd time this year. How did you do the previous 2 times? Horribly.
I didn't win. Yeah, I wouldn't say horribly. I only lost by.
What makes you think that you are going to come up with a win here in the playoffs after losing 2 to Anton?
Well, 3rd time's the charm, as they say. You know, it's even I believe one of my favorite things to say is even a blind squirrel finds a nut. So you know, I again, you know, we're confident that we've watched enough video to pick up on these strengths and the weaknesses of the whatever the fucking name he's gonna go by. I'm sure it's gonna be something stupid. But
wow.
You know, I missed. I think my team is 11-point spread. I'm not worried about it. I'm real confident that my team is going to pull off an upset and move on to the semifinals.
Yeah, it would be a slight upset. You're an underdog by about 12 points, but as we know, predicting these games, these predictions don't mean anything. Mm-hmm. So it's of course anyone's game. The one thing that has stood out to me in this preview of the playoffs, though, is, and I go back to, I think it was 2 weeks ago when I said this, I have trouble predicting games where you have a lot of bench decisions to be made. And,
right.
And I think you have a lot of solid players in your bench that could possibly have places in your lineup, but you got to make a lot of tough decisions. And I would say in this case, more so than the tough decisions that Anton has to make.
Fair enough. I mean, I get that. I mean, he's been making his decisions. He's been making have been all good the last 5-6 weeks of the season.
So with that said, I'm taking Anton in this game.
I would expect nothing less.
And this starts something fresh because this is the playoffs, but we do want to wager something on this, right?
Yeah, why not?
What would be a good wager?
I don't know.
Just something small. It's the playoffs. There's only three weeks of it.
I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head.
Big boy ice.
Big boy ice?
Yeah.
Okay.
Big boy ice upside down.
Oh, that's a bit much, man. I don't know if I can have that.
All right, I thought I'd try it. All right, we'll put a big boy ice on the.
Speaking of chugging things upside down, aren't we still waiting on that video from Derek and then the pop video from Paul?
We are.
Saying.
Yeah. We are, and you know what, I'm going to hold him accountable for it because I really do believe Paul when he says that he was excited to do this, but if he's going to do it, he's going to do it right. And that's why I'm sort of just like licking my chops over here like I want to see this WAP video. This WAP video is going to be amazing. Paul, deliver it to us. Do it live on the BiddieCast. We're here for you, my friend. We are here for you.
There's a good chance that whatever he was planning on doing or whatever he'll do, YouTube might take the video down and say we can't show it. Who knows? We'll see. We'll never know. I don't know.
We can censor some things if necessary.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. Again, keep in mind there's only 2 games this week.
You're taking
myself.
You're taking yourself as always, and I'm gonna take Anton on this. And then the other matchup this week, Double D, who squeaked into the playoffs against the itty bitty committee of tight end.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the previous matchup they had this year. Itty bitty didn't even score 100 points. You know, do you think there's blood? You think itty bitty's got sensing that blood in the water with Double D coming off that demolishing they got in week 6?
Yeah, it's hard to say because Double D put up some huge points last week too.
20-point spread.
I mean, you look at this game and you look at all the projections. Given that we just said 2 minutes ago, projections mean dog shit. Right. They're not there for anything except to confuse you. I don't like players that are questionable.
Mm-hmm.
And both of these teams have questionable players in their starting rosters right now. Let's take a look at the bench. Ooh.
He's got Will Fuller, that big SSPD.
I mean, we've been talking about the depth of Ben's team, I think, all year.
I'd agree. And I like his pickup of Eric Ebron. Got Dallas Goedert. I mean, he's the tight end committee. He might as well have 3 tight ends in his roster.
I guess my question with that pickup of Ebron, it seems to me that pickup was more so I'll pick this guy up so no one else can have him, rather than I'm going to pick this guy up so I can use him. Because if you look at his roster, I don't think I'm giving away any secrets here. There's no reason to really insert Eric Ebron ever, especially when you have Darren Waller.
Right.
I mean, for the rest of the season, there's really no point to have Eric Ebron except for maybe an injury to Waller or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that could be what he's doing. I mean, now that Ertz is back, maybe Dallas Goedert doesn't have as much value to Ben anymore. But I mean, I don't know. That very well could have been a move he made to protect himself. Any other team getting that guy and having that guy hurt. him in the future. The Bills are not the greatest against tight ends. Maybe he picked him up to slide him in there this week against the Bills defense. That's
but who
really great
are you going
against
to take
tight
out
ends.
for that? You're not going to take out Deebo Samuel. You're not going to take out Allen Robinson. You're certainly not going to take out anyone else on that roster.
Right. I don't know.
So, like, there's really no reason to have picked up Eric Ebron unless it was calculated to make sure that Double D did not get Ebron. Now,
yeah,
I want to check the offers report here and see if anyone put an offer on Ebron, and it does not look like it. The only person who was unsuccessful in a waiver claim was Ben, and he tried to get Jamison Crowder and Kiki QT. But QT was added by the UK Bills, and it looks like Crowder wasn't added because Ben dropped Ebron. So it looked like it was like a backup offer.
Okay.
But hey, I think it's interesting how the committee is structuring their tight ends, because it's currently not a committee.
Right.
It's currently Waller.
Yeah.
But he's keeping the committee in the backfield, and so I find that interesting. At the same point, though, what I wanted to get into with the bids and everything is that Double D didn't make a bid on a tight end, and Hayden Hurst bid him last week. He bid him hard.
Yeah.
So, that's my one concern for Double D moving forward through this game, and that's probably why I'm going to pick that.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to disagree with you here, but I think Ben's got the stronger team, so I'm going with Ben as well.
So we got Ben, and then a mix between Dave or Anton for next week. I believe the standings would rearrange to have Chris play the worst team
Low seed.
of all, like, of the winners. So it's kind of hard to go over scenarios right now. But one of the things that I did want to bring up before we close out the show today is the selection process for the playoffs. One of the ideas that I've experimented with in some other leagues that I think is actually kind of fun is giving the first place team or the top place team in that week the ability to choose their opponents. So, for example, you were the top place team this week, I believe, right? Take a look. You were the fifth. Ben would have been able to choose of Derek, Anton, and you who he wants to play against. He gets the choice of it. And then same thing, let's say you and Derek win this week. Chris would have the choice between the two of you, despite what your rankings or what your record was. That's the benefit of getting those top spots.
I mean, I don't hate that idea. Certainly something that we can talk about in our board of governors meeting for the league once the season has come to an end. I like that idea. I think the NBA was toying around with that playoff format. There was actually a professional league. I think it was the NBA that was toying around with that when they were going to expand the playoffs. Maybe it's baseball. It's baseball. MLB was toying around with that.
Yeah, let them choose the team.
Yeah, to the top team gets to choose who they play. So it's definitely something that's a little bit could be unique and could be fun. Yeah, I like it.
All right, I'm looking forward to the playoffs, even though I'm on the outside looking in, not allowed in. I'm sort of like Cam Newton and Ryan Fitzpatrick looking into the Monday Night Football Josh Allen Home Alone skit. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's good.
That was amazing.
I don't know if you caught it, but behind Josh Allen, like there's his bedroom door. It says Josh's room, and like towards the bottom of the door, you can see between like the rungs of the banister of the stairs. They had the logo that Josh Allen drew of the Bills. Like there's a drawing that they had taped on his door. So
the potato buffalo.
The potato buffalo, yeah.
Love the potato buffalo.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. It was a good season.
Yes.
I'll see you next week. You want to say something before we go?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, congratulations to all those who made the playoffs. Guess shit out of luck for those who didn't. Do better, win some more games. Sorry, man. 5-8's not going to cut it in any league. And also, good luck to those that are playing this weekend. Everyone stay healthy, stay well, and go fuck yourselves.